people. State lawmakers are asking for more time so they can pass a measure to extend the state's eviction ban. The Judicial Council that oversees the state's court system could lift the suspension on evictions as early as next week, but the state legislature is scheduled to adjourn at the end of the month. Lawmakers say they need those 2.5 weeks to make a decision on the matter. They say if the ban gets lifted next week, it could cause a lot of chaos. Some language being changed on an informational voter guide for the upcoming election. It involves guides for Prop 15, which will ask voters to raise taxes on business properties with a value of $3 million or more. The guide says the initiative would let the legislature raise property taxes on homeowners. The state judge has ordered that language removed because home-based businesses are exempt from the measure. Opponents have said the ballot measure is an effort to roll back California's landmark Proposition 13. A 3/4-cent sales tax measure has been placed on the November ballot for voters in Carson. Surveys commissioned by the city show a lot of support from residents. It also has the approval from the city council. California caps sales tax at 10.25%. Carson's is currently 9.5%. City leaders say they want to prevent LA County from taking the extra revenue by passing a tax hike of their own. 10:50 with a look at your money. Here's Frank Motek.
Well, all that glitters is gold today. Gold hitting another record high for the 5th trading day in a row. Gold has just closed at $20.10 to $2,069.40 an ounce. Gold has soared at 36% since the start of the year. Silver also moving higher today at more than $1 now at 28 and change. The stock market is higher as well after bouncing around on latest signals out of Washington on a coronavirus rescue package, the next round of stimulus, including perhaps extending unemployment benefits. Right now, the Dow is up 55 points, NASDAQ up 50, and the S&P 500 up 6. Looks like the lawmakers still trillions of dollars apart on Capitol Hill. In the travel business, we're watching disappointing earnings news coming out of Hilton Hotels today, and Lufthansa, the national carrier of Germany, says flying will not come back to pre-virus levels until
You stay here. I'll be back in 1 minute.
is for a fake bank robbery that drew real cops with weapons drawn. The twins, who were 23, called an Uber driver, but he took one look at their black clothing, ski mask, and duffel bags full of cash and refused to drive them anywhere. A neighbor watching all this decided it was a carjacking and called the cops. They rolled up with the weapons drawn until they figured out that it was just a prank. Communities of color are feeling more threatened by the pandemic than whites. The new UC Berkeley poll says Black and Latinos are far more likely to report that the coronavirus has threatened their health, their jobs, and their finances. The data underscores the widening racial and class inequities during this pandemic. In LA County, nearly 7 in 10 Latino and Black voters said that the virus posed a major threat. By comparison, fewer than half of white voters reported the same level of concern. An LAPD officer who died of coronavirus being remembered as a hero at his funeral. More news at the top of the hour. It's 11 o'clock. 10:55, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in the 5. Brought to you by Caliber Garage Doors. Here's Tom Tran.
We have quite a bit of slowing over on the 91 out in the Corona area. Let's check in with Brian Douglas to take a look at that.
Yeah, we got some tip calls on this. Our westbound side in Corona. Before you get to Surface Club, we had somebody on the freeway. Not sure if it was related to a crash or not, but some police activity. It looks like we still have something working here, a little bit past Lincoln. So slow off the 15. I know it's frustrating because if you were on that 91 out of Riverside, you were slow there as well, starting at Tyler. That's because at McKinley, we're down, you lose that right lane due to roadworks. That not even westbound's going to be tough. Eastbound, you're okay out of Orange County, making your way into Corona. Now, let's go get an update on this problem on the 5 freeway, heading into Downey, Santa Fe Springs. Scott's overhead in Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
Crash on the 5 northbound right at the 605, blocks several lanes over to the right shoulder now, but it is an attention getter. It's going to be a bit tough. Northbound 5 starting just about Rosecrans Avenue. Some additional slowing up ahead through Commerce, right around Garfield, but not too bad getting up toward the 710. Southbound, all lanes open, but some spectator slowing starting about Paramount Boulevard.
Yeah, we've got delays coming and going into downtown LA. Southbound side of the Hollywood Freeway slows back near Melrose down towards Silver Lake Boulevard. The northbound side backs up just after the 110, and the 110 still slow trying to get through downtown as well. The northbound side is just about 7 towards the boulevard. Make Caliber Garage Doors your #1 choice for new garage door. Right now, $200 off, as low as $499 installed, including free bottom seals and free haul away. Caliber Garage Doors will beat any advertised price. Hundreds to choose from at CaliberGarageDoors.com. CaliberGarageDoors.com. Your next report, 11:05. More traffic reports more often. Tom Tran, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Right now we have 70 degrees in downtown LA, 68 in San Fernando, 73 in Huntington Beach. Among our top stories that we're working on, the first LAPD officer to die of the coronavirus being remembered at his funeral, and more than 1 million people apply again for jobless benefits. More news in 3 minutes.
This business of staying at home is driving me crazy.
Going on in the Hollywood Hills. Recently there was a shooting. A woman died. It looked like it was probably a Crips party there in the Hollywood Hills. Just dozens of people, hundreds, in some cases packed into these mansions, Airbnbs at times. Well, it looks like the mayor has found out how to crack down on the illegal pandemic parties. And it's all about the power. Yeah, exactly. It's like the worst. Authority figure, isn't he?
Yes. Hard to watch.
All right, we'll talk about it when we come back to Gary and Shannon.
No axes to grind here. What do you think we are, lumberjacks? What do you even grind an axe anyway?
KSI.
And the KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere. Video.
I'm live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Twin brothers from a popular YouTube channel have been charged for masquerading as bank robbers in Irvine.
The video showing Alan and Alex Stokes in ski masks, dressed in all black, carrying duffel bags.
It's because we're doing a bank robbery, Frank. We have a lot of money right here. We're going to be running around in front of people and making it seem like we just got done robbing a bank.
OCDA Todd Spitzer says after the two jumped in an Uber last October, cops showed up, pulled the unsuspecting Uber driver out at gunpoint, and warned the twins.
They were told not to do it again, and then about 4 hours later, they did it again.
The twins are charged with felony false imprisonment and misdemeanor false reporting and emergency.
These are not pranks. These are serious crimes.
In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
An LAPD officer has been shot in the arm in Hollywood while responding to a mental health call for a person with bipolar disorder. When police showed up yesterday, they say the man has sharp scissors and a large dog with him. LAPD Chief Moore says it looks like the officer was shot by someone hospital for evaluation. Black Lives Matter LA says it has started a new website to expose what it calls killer cops.
ProsecuteKillerCops.org is a database of cops and deputies who have been involved in any type of death.
What is the purpose and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, we know that Jackie Lacey, the district attorney, has refused to hold police accountable, has refused to prosecute the police who kill our people.
Melina Abdullah is with BLM and says the list of law enforcement comes from public records, other websites, and coroner's reports. The website shows the name of an officer, deputy, their badge number, agency, in some cases a picture. Abdullah says the public needs to know when a killer cop lives in or visits a neighborhood. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
News brought to you by Cunning Dental Group. LA County health officials say recent numbers show some improvement during the COVID-19 pandemic.
As of last week, we are now definitively seeing a gradual downturn in the number of new hospitalizations.
Health Services Director Dr. Christina Galley says while this is good news, the data studies the newest patients going to hospitals are much younger than usual, which Galley says means there's no age limit to who can get or spread the virus. Police have shut down a backyard wedding at a mansion in Aldi Hills. Cops got a call last night, or a lot of calls, I should say, about last night's wedding being too loud, but few guests were wearing face masks or doing social distancing. An order put out this week by the LA County Health Department bans gatherings, including parties, during the pandemic. A funeral is scheduled next week for a couple in the Bay Area who died of COVID-19 11 days apart. Keith and Gwendolyn Robinson, who lived in Vallejo, were in their 60s and had other health issues. Gwendolyn Robinson died last month, 4 days after going into a hospital. The couple had 4 children.